always keep customer as a focal point, as the center. Because anything that you are trying to deliver is for the customer. Everybody has that potential. It's just about finding those potential, which area you can polish it more, and you can grow as a leader in that particular area. If everybody starts taking that responsibility to support the bigger vision of your leader of your company, the CEOs, I think that really helps. Youth, very, very important because, as you mentioned, Dr. Kailash, they are full of energy, right? And we want to make sure that they get the right direction at the right time. Because when you have too much of energy and you don't have the right direction and you fail, it can even take you into depression. I traveled to India and it was a family gathering, and I requested my family that 2 days I will be in a resort, leave me alone. I started with a music for Lord Krishna. It was a flute music in the morning. That was running in the background for 2 days. I
Wow.
finished 80% of my book writing in those 2 days.
Hello, viewers and listeners. I'm very happy that you are again here, and you know that we get most powerful people on earth on our show, and we talk to them. You know why they are most powerful? Because they're authors, and there are less than 1% people on earth are authors. Today, we have a very, very, very powerful author with us, and her name is Preea Mane. And I want to talk about her. She lives in Dubai now. She works in Dubai. She's a very powerful woman from Dubai. You can search her on internet too, and she's done wonderful work. She's raised in India in Nasik, where she has Kashmiri roots, and she holds degree in Bachelor's of Commerce from Pune University. She has specialization in entrepreneurship, majors in economics, Master of Science in Management, Strategy and Leadership from Michigan State University in US. She has immense experience working in overseas, guiding companies to grow to the next level. She has worked at a lot of companies at the leadership positions. She's been Gulf from many years, and I won't name few companies because we're going to talk to her. But she has built companies from scratch to one of the top in Gulf. So that kind of willpower she holds. So welcome, Priya, on the show today, and thank you for getting the time to speak to our listeners today.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and always a pleasure and honor to meet you and talk to you.
No, thank you very much. And let's jump on to the book. And you have a very powerful book cover. It looks simple yet powerful, and that's very rare combination. A lot of things which go looks powerful, but they're very gaudy, and they don't look nice, to be frank. They look good, but they don't look nice. So you are very powerful cover. So I want to go to name of your book, because you have a very powerful name of your book called Essentials for Strategy and Leadership. So why did you thought of writing book on strategy and leadership? Because I know you're a multi-talented personality. I know 10 books are sitting inside you, but why was this as a first book?
Okay. So first of all, I'll start with the cover page. Thank you so much for the compliment. I would share this compliment with my elder son, who helped me to create this cover page. So it's very special for me. And two, in terms of the topic, uh, it's the first time, Dr. Kailash, when I attended your workshop, right? And it's the first time when I want to come out and I want to position myself. How do you want to position? It's my image which is linked, right? And with that, what is the expertise that I'm bringing out to the viewers or the audiences or the readers? What is something that I'm bringing as a value? And during this transition, when I was writing the book, I was actually changing from corporate to business. I was already writing the strategy for my businesses. And what is best is to share the knowledge that I already have from my studies and from the experience that I have is for everybody. So this book will actually help every single person when it comes to their career in their corporate world or whether in their businesses, because it is covering strategy, leadership, and management.
Wonderful. So there are very few books which can cater to either you're an employee or you're working in a corporate, could be a senior level management, or you're running a business. There are very few books which can touch upon both the areas. And I'm very happy that you wrote a book on strategy and leadership, because if you look at the country, like, we live in, where we have very powerful leadership in the government. Like, we have Sheikh Mohammed, and we have president of UAE, the way they are leading UAE, or whether, from India, the way India has been, been governed by the very powerful prime minister today. Even we leave that and we talk about business world, we heard about Mr. Ratan Tata, how Ratan Tata led the company from where. So Tata's is all about value systems, but it is all about strategy and leadership. So,
Absolutely.
so I'm very happy that you wrote this book with the real life experience, because I have seen a lot of books on strategy and leadership which comes from educational background, which is more
Right.
theory in nature, but very less
Yeah.
practical. So when I was going through your own book, I thought there are very, very realistic examples are given, which talks very, very raw but real ground knowledge on the book. So I wanted to, share, few experiences which you had in your life and which you mentioned in the book too, about strategy and leadership, which is not coming from the theoretical bookish knowledge, but it's real world leadership.
Right. So if I link it with the strategy from my experiences, and because I also had the quality management as a background, and the strategy that we tried to put in place was to always keep customer as a focal point, as the center, because anything that you are trying to deliver is for the customer. So if we have that disconnection of what I understand about my business, my product, and my processes, if it is not resonating with the experience that the customer gets, there's a complete disconnection. So it's very important that you know your product or your services very well, and you ensure it has to be a good experience for the client. And it is a journey, right? Right from the time the client decides or thinks about your product till they experience or they buy it, it's an experience. And there are certain products or services where client remains over there, so it's a retention of your client, and you have to maintain that relationship, and that relationship again has to grow, correct? So this is what we tried to do in one of the entities that I was working into. So what we did was we did a whole digitization. So there used to be a lot of manual work where client would come, then the files are being sent from one department to another, and it takes time. So sometimes 1 month, sometimes 1.5 month. So, and people have business to run because we used to arrange for the licenses and the leases. So then we understood the gap. When we understand the gap, we went to the management with the complete process. We didn't go with a challenge. We went with the challenge and the solution. And that's when it becomes a win, correct? So when you give a solution, it becomes a project for you, and this is how we got those projects. So we then sat with different departments, whether it's business excellence or IT department, to have everything delivered. When we wanted to deliver also, it was not like me and my manager sit and we deliver. We aligned with the whole company, not only within our department but with the whole company, because it's a chain, right?
Mm.
Every single person contributes to every single customer, because it's not only the front facing, but every single person where they're contributing their work in that particular area, it actually impacts on the experience of the client. So we made sure that every single department is included. Every single department has a role in those digitization process, and they have the input. And that's how we completed. And our timeline was from like 3 to 7 days to get the whole process done. As far as the client has all their process documents with them, we could finish within 7 days. So that was the impact.
Wonderful. So we have always heard customer is king, but saying and doing are two different things. So, she make that happen. They actually make your customer king, because customer should feel he's a king. You saying doesn't matter. So that's what
Absolutely.
strategy she was sharing about. I would like to shift our direction, the discussion a little different direction. I want to know that, you've been uh, discussing, you've been talking about in a lot of companies and blogs and articles about your work. But what inspired you to compile this as a book and, present to the world as a book? So where the inspiration of writing a book comes in?
So the inspiration, definitely you are the one who actually literally gave me the wings to fly, Dr. Kailash, and I'm very, very thankful to you about it. Because it's like when the time comes, God sends those angels across your path, and you do connect and you do resonate. And it's just that you have to have a very conscious mind to listen to them. And when I saw the ad of yours and I attended the workshop of yours, everything that you mentioned, and what I loved about this concept of getting a book, it became my identity. And when this book came out, I mean, my world changed completely. And I literally feel I got the wings, literally. And I love the name of your company because it really justifies. So, bringing the book out for the whole world is something where I can connect and I can tell them what wealth of information and knowledge that I have. And again, it's not only for me because I found my purpose of giving back to the society. So, what's the best way of returning back to the society is from your knowledge that you can share, irrespective of the age. Somebody's just coming out of college, somebody's already struggling in their corporate world, somebody's starting something new. So, at every generation or every single age, irrespective of the gender, if I can help everybody and touch those lives, I mean, this is the best way. So, this inspiration actually came from you, Dr. Kailash.
Thank you very much. But I remember that, we were discussing that once you were saying to me that there are three ways you can serve the world in the best way. One is, we all know serving the world with donating money and all. Yes, that's good. But better than that, when you serve someone with your own physical labor, you go and serve someone physically. But most powerful thing she said is the best way to serve the world is giving knowledge. Because when you give someone very powerful knowledge, entire life can, because this book, what Priya has written, it comes from the years of her knowledge combined as a big packet. If someone reads, she can learn everything what Priya learned in her life from decades of experience. But for someone to just read book and do it, so thank you very much for giving this to societies. It's a very powerful way, and it is a legacy. So the life of book is always greater than life of humans. So for generations, are going to educate the world how world how leadership works, how strategy works on the ground.
Right.
So want to know, we were talking about brand identity. Yes, it gives you a new identity. I personally believe that's the real identity you have, but it just polishes and present to the world. And I've seen a lot of people when they write the book, they publish the book, suddenly they see the world around changes the way they look at them. So did you see some big shift in din wal to raat wala, day to night, night to day shifts? So do you want to share some experience like
Absolutely.
that?
My world changed, my identity changed, and it's like, Dr. Kailash, how much I have reached at the highest peak in my corporate life. I didn't get that much of attention. What I got now after becoming an author, and especially after becoming the bestseller. Now, my introduction, forget of everything that I earned for 23 years with all the hard work that I used to put in 20 hours a day. Now my identity is she's Preea and she's the best-selling author. That's the new identity I have. And I feel so proud.
I want to share a quick experience. I know that I sit in office, and in publishing office we have books coming in when the new book was launched by Priya, and suddenly the flood of orders started coming, and my team says, sir, books are finishing. We whatever we printed is going off. I said, okay, print more because we the people need it, and suddenly we saw the rank going up, and wow, she became a bestseller. That's the power of the knowledge she gives, because people are recommending this to each other because they're getting value out of it. So if you're listening to me right now and you've not read this book till now, you don't have the book, you're missing very big opportunity. So I want you to go to Amazon in your country, whether it's in US, you're in Japan, you are in Dubai, you are in India, go to Amazon in your country, search with her name, Priya Vimane, or you can write a book name also, and you'll find the book and buy the book, read the book, change your life. And if you are running a management institute like MBA Institute, this book can give your students a real life knowledge. What happens on the ground in the leadership and strategy. Yes, I know Philip Kotler's and all those biggies, authors are giving knowledge to your college. But I would recommend buy this book in bulk, in hundreds of copies. Let every student read this book and change their life. So this is a small recommendation to all of you who are listening to me. Or if you know any management college director, management college CEO, who is running the college, recommend them to buy this book for their students for strategy and leadership. And we come back to Priya. So I've seen you have done a lot of work, and it's comprehensive. towards leadership and management and the strategy, I want to pick up one of the topic, which is your favorite area to talk on, either on strategy or on leadership.
I'm comfortable with both.
So
So you
which one is
can.
your favorite? You end up speaking a lot, or one. Let's twist the question: which area do you see people need to learn a lot because they're still missing?
Leadership is what something that I would say. There's a huge gap. There's a lot of potential in people. It's just about polishing those certain skills and creating those succession plan in every single corporate, because everybody has that potential. It's just about finding those potential, which area you can polish it more, and you can grow as a leader in that particular area. So leadership for sure.
Leadership. So I would like to recently, I was having a discussion with one of our tech company CEO. So I want to ask a leadership question. What he asked me, interesting question. He said, our leadership team is all white hair people in the company,
Mm, mm,
and we hire a lot of engineering graduates who are 20s, 22s, and just fresh graduates, but a lot of energy in them and a lot of power. But the way they work ethics point of view, it's a huge difference. And he said, as a CEO,
absolutely
I'm a big challenge that vice presidents and they are oldies. Their expectation is very different, and the way they behave are very different. Though work-wise, they're awesome, but they may come to office with torn jeans and red hairs, and a lot of millennials are joining in. And then this is a big leadership issue in our company because I'm not able to shift the mind of our leadership team with gray haired people to look at them
correct.
as a performers, but they're looking them as a the way physically they appear. So do you want to touch upon this area, because these days every company is hiring fresh graduates and leaders are always little oldies. So this big
Correct.
generation gap, we always talk about the families, it's also coming to the companies now. So how do you look at this area and how companies should tackle this generation gap in the companies for performance?
Thank you for this question. It's a very important question. So, again, wherever there is a gap, there is always potential to fix it. So, it's very important. And I always say trainings and coaching definitely helps. Conferences help. Awareness sessions help. So, it's very important that the new generation who comes on board also needs to be made understand what the old generation is expecting. Yes, you have all the energy, but there are certain corporate norms that you need to align with. We can't just leave everything loose. We do respect everything, but there is something, there has to be a balance created. And I think when we teach them in the positive manner, they do accept it. But they have their own style, which again, we as white hair, now we need to accept that as well. So the old generation needs to have those awareness session, the whole millennial understanding the pace with which they are working with, because it's a fast generation. Everything is instant. People don't have patience for anything. So with the AI especially, everything is fast. So we cannot hold on to our old generation. It is always good to keep ourselves upgraded with the new generation, with the new knowledge. When we have this sync, that's when we can move forward. The moment we have this gap, that's where the company will actually suffer and the losses will kick in. So when we say leadership, leadership is in every single individual, right? It's leading with example. If everybody starts taking that responsibility to support the bigger vision of your leader of your company, the CEOs, I think that really helps. So that leadership has to be bottom up from the training perspective. And
Wow.
it's very important that the company understands what the vision of the leader is, so we can groom everybody in that particular direction.
Wonderful. So, I know a lot of you are listening. You must be facing similar problems in your company. If you're an HR, you're a CEO. So, I want to ask you question from your side to Preea. That Preea, would you come and do trainings for our companies so the leadership and the team goes, well along? Not only millennial gaps, but there could be a lot of other gaps. So, would you be able to help us in training so our profits can grow up and you know the company grows faster? Because you said it right. Training is a right tool which can actually fill any gap anywhere in the company, but someone has to identify the right place to train, and we need a right person to train to. So
Correct.
you do trainings and leadership coaching too for the companies.
I do.
Would you like to touch upon a little bit on that area?
Absolutely. So I do. So I provide different type of programs when it comes to coaching, because there is something which is a standard package which can go across, but there are certain times where you have different levels, right, in your hierarchy. So you need to understand, come down to that level and make sure the program that you are creating is base up. So we create different level of training programs. We create different timeline for the training programs. We have annual training programs which run on quarterly basis. We make sure it's a hybrid one. I know it's a whole trend of online videos, and you just give a link of one of the training program and people go and do it online. But trust me, Dr. Kailash, it makes a big impact when you are in one room with like-minded people, where everybody is having an engaging conversation, and there's lots that come out in those interactions. We learn a lot. And the best thing, when we have face-to-face training programs, it's like first thing is you have to keep away your phones,
Oh, yeah.
right? So we don't have distraction. In the online training, trust me, the amount of distractions that we have, whether it's our mobile, whether it's somebody passing by our desks. So there's a lot of distraction, and sometimes that even takes time. So when we have a hybrid, we give a comfort for certain topics that can be completed at the pace, but there are certain important topics we make sure that it is face to face. Again, from timeline, it can be one-on-one coaching as well. It can be quarterly, it can be 6 monthly, it can be annual program also. So it all depends. We also customize those coaching programs. One, it is for everybody in a corporate, but there's a women empowerment as well, which I'm very passionate about,
Oh,
women empowerment and youth empowerment. So we create special programs for them to support them to grow and create them as successes and the new upcoming leaders.
wonderful. As I'm aware, you also do succession, help companies do succession planning and CEO coachings. Would you like to also talk about, because a lot of people think, why do a CEO needs a coaching? But I think he's the person who needs the coaching the most. I always say,
Absolutely.
the best footballer in the world would be Messi or Ronaldo, or best cricketer would be Virat Kohli, or who's your
Absolutely.
favorite one. But they also have coaches. Rather, I would say because they have coaches, they're the best in the world. So if you really want your company to grow, I want you to first read the book so you understand the philosophy of how Preea understands the world leadership. And then if you think it is aligned, I want you to talk to her. Maybe her small training program or small coaching to your CEO could double your profits next year. Why not? So, and I know personally, and I can vouch for her work because I know her from a long time now, and that is why I don't actually watch a lot of people's work, but I do for Preea for sure. You can talk to her for that. I also want to talk about a very interesting area you work on, Preea. It's one of your podcast. You've been very active
Yes.
on podcast, and if you've not seen her podcast, I want you to go search on YouTube, look at her podcast, look at those two. But I want to talk about what was the vision behind starting a podcast, and I know you have certain philosophies and vision. So I want to talk about podcasts and what kind of people you invite on.
Sure. So my podcast is very specific. Again, it has come out from the book that I published. So the book is based on strategy, leadership, management. My podcast is linked with the same. And the two additional topics that we have introduced as segments is women empowerment and youth empowerment. So we have 5 segments that we focus on. So when we say leadership, we invite CEOs of the companies who are visionaries. So we want them to come and they share their whole journey, because it's not easy that you just come and you become a leader, right? Everybody goes through a journey, everybody goes through those challenges. So we invite them to share those journey with everybody so they can inspire the upcoming and aspiring leaders. Similarly, management, it's manager level and above, because they are the ones who's going to implement the vision. We invite strategists because they are the catalyst between the visionary and the management to ensure that this is being implemented in the correct manner. And then definitely with the women empowerment and youth empowerment, there are a lot of people who are dedicating their time and energy to support them. So anything that we can do for women, either they are currently in their career, peak of their careers, struggling, or somebody who is wanting to start. somebody who's not yet started, and somebody who's craving to start. They're hungry, but they don't know how to start. How do we do the hand holding? How do we support? So these are the things that we want to cover. Youth, very, very important, because as you mentioned, Dr. Kailash, they are full of energy, right? And we want to make sure that they get the right direction at the right time. Because when you have too much of energy and you don't have the right direction and you fail, it can even take you into depression. We don't want that for a new generation. We want them to be active. We want them to keep contributing to the global success. So we make sure that that area is also taken care of, and we bring guests who can actually inspire the youth and direct them into right direction.
Yeah, and all the listeners, I would also tell my team to put a link of her podcasts in the description box, so it's easy for you to divert there. Look at her and follow her, because she keeps doing a lot of podcasts. Maybe last the podcast she did in the past were interesting, but the new podcast could be far more interesting. So follow her so you can keep listening to her on various areas, and you learn a lot out of those discussions, because these are very, very knowledgeable and experienced people coming on a podcast and talking about a lot of things. Now I want to move into a direction where I want to know how many days you took to write a book, and how was a book writing journey. Any experiences? What did you learn while writing a book? So, couple of areas about your journey on the writing a book.
This is a very special journey. Um, I would love to share with everybody. I mean, there are so many things that happened during this period of writing the book, Dr. Kailash, and I'm so glad to share with everybody. So, after the workshop, first of all, thank you so much, where you guided us in a very structured way how we should start. You even guided us how we should be consistent in writing the book. So, all those definitely help. But, when your day to day work, you do get stuck because everybody has different situations happening. And that was my transition period going on. So time was becoming challenging for me. So what I did was I traveled to India, and it was a family gathering, and I requested my family that 2 days I will be in a resort, leave me alone. And they were like, fine, we'll have a good time. You enjoy your thing. And of course, my husband joined me, and he's like, I'm just around. I'm just around. You do what you want to do. I'm not even going to talk to you. So again, he's been a great support in my journey, everything that I have done. Now, concentration was becoming very difficult for me, Dr. Kailash, during that time because of the transitions. Now, when I have to focus in these 2 days, trust me, I started with a music for Lord Krishna. It was a flute music in the morning that was running in the background for 2 days. I
Wow,
finished 80% of my book writing in those 2 days.
wonderful.
I mean, I don't know what was about that music, but the way my thoughts they went on, and I was able to complete 80% in those 2 days, and the remaining days then I took. So it was not even 1 month, I would say, if I calculate, it was not even a month for me to do that.
Good.
So a great direction from you, a great support from Almighty. It really and of course support from the family. It really helped me to put everything together. And even today, Dr. Kailash, if I am stuck, if I run that music in my background, everything gets sorted. So now I've got the key for my problem.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I believe, because I work with a lot of authors, I know that people who are blessed and they have right connection to the universe, everything flows in their life. And sometimes they not exactly know that it is there, but book gets you there where the connection is far more stronger. That's what I believe in. And after that, you got your own magical key. But I want to
Yes.
know top two or three learnings as a character development that happened to you when you were writing a book.
So definitely it does impact your personality because now your focus is shifted, and now it was more about going back and revising everything that I had learned and putting them in a structured manner. It helped me to become and emerge as a proper leader while I'm starting my business. It made a big impact because now I was ready and prepared to even train other leaders. So while I was busy in my corporate life about me, myself, this helped me to find my purpose. It's not about myself, it's about balancing life, while you're making profits, it's something that you have to give back to the society. So that became a purpose of my life. And this was the biggest impact that happened in my life while I was writing this book. It also helped me to put my mind into a proper structure, because writing a book, just a thought of writing a book, it's like your mind gets kind of cluttered because so much of information is just flooding in your mind. You have to write so many things. So your guidance of putting things together, start writing, start documenting whatever comes to your mind. Even if you want to write 5 books, write the topics, otherwise you'll forget. So lot of things that you kept on giving us message during that whole workshop, and that really helped me. And this one habit that I have, uh, I myself appreciate that, because since childhood, even whatever my mother used to teach us, I have the habit of putting it in back of my mind. Whenever the situations come, it comes out. So that helps. So even all your teachings was always there, and while writing the book, it was coming out and actually helped shape my personality for the future.
And I want to share, because book writing is addictive. Book finishes, it launches, but you don't stop writing. So one day Priya calls me up on the call, on the Zoom call. It was a, we have a community call where all authors comes and say, okay, I'm also writing my second book now, and that is also about to finish. And I said, oh, when did you start? I was not even aware. And I don't want to disclose because,
Yeah,
we'll with the, we'll launch the book with a bang and you all will know. But
yeah,
second book is already done, sort of done. We're working on it. So a lot of books you'll see. As I said, she's a multi-dimensional personality, and she can handle multiple things together. She's a very powerful leader. She's a powerful soul. So we're going to get a lot of this kind of work from her. Now, I also want to know few people. I know you are very powerful in your gratitude. I've always seen you smiling and thanking people, and you have a attitude of a gratitude. So, but on the record, I want you to give gratitude to your few important people in your life who've been not only supporting the book journey. Yes, it is part of your life, but they're always pillar of your life. So would you like to say a few names who are
for sure.
always there? I know there are many, but still, if you can
Yeah.
name few names.
Few with the inner circle, I will start off with definitely with my husband, who's been a pillar of my life. My kids, because without their support and their cooperation, I wouldn't achieve anything. And they have been contributing in my journey throughout in their own sweet ways. Then definitely my mother, who's very strong, and the foundation that she has done for us from our education and our attitudes, I give a big credit to her. Then my in-law side, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law also has been a big inspiration for me. She's my support, she's my best friend, and we can't live without each other. We have to be chatting with each other. She's been a great support throughout the journey as well. My elder sister, she's been my guru. She's been guiding me. She's been like a mother for me since childhood. And of course, I have a second sister. So I have two sisters. Both have been like, they treated me like a baby. And they have been a guiding star throughout my journey. My elder brother, who guided me throughout from my college days, kept my focus. Even now, he keeps guiding me. He keeps checking on me that I don't go overboard. Even with my book, he kept on checking. So, this is my inner circle. I have a group of girlfriends from childhood. I call them my sisters.
Wow.
We are sisters. And, Dr. Kailash, when you are stressed, and you really want to go to somebody for that stress release, it's the four of us. We bond so well, and we make sure, and all our mothers, every 2 years we travel. So when we travel, girls trip, and we come back, we are all recharged. And this happened. So after our trip is what I came for your workshop, and this happened. And they have been the strength
Wow.
for me throughout. Yeah. And I have a godmother as well, and she's been blessing me throughout. She keeps checking on me. You're facing challenges. She keeps praying for me throughout. So yeah, this is my inner circle. And from the family, let's come to the mentors like yourself. I did have a lot of mentors at my workplace as well. I'm very thankful to them. My colleagues who taught me a lot, and yeah, so my family, my friends, all my teachers, yeah,
Thank you. Wonderful.
gratitude.
I think you should write one book on your relationship, how you maintain so much lovingly connected relationship. It's difficult for people to do that. So, and in the busy world, busy life. So, and
I
I,
feel blessed.
I feel relationship are the essence of it. There's a smell of what we do. So, if you really, if your smile smells very powerfully, it spreads, then you have a very powerful relationship backing you up. And I'm very glad to know you, Priya. You are a very, 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 very favorite of mine as an author, as a person.
Thank you.
I'm always inspired. I always tell your story to my, my family members, my kids, and then my other authors, because you are inspiring. I want to,
Thank you.
I want all of you to connect to her. I know you've been listening to her and you are also very happy to listen to her. You got connected on various levels. You could see her aura, you can see her power. When you read her book, you'll see her knowledge too. So if you want to get connected to her, I want to ask her the question. So Priya, if someone want to get connected to you for the training programs or any type of coaching, any area, they want to invite you for keynote speakers, they want you to come to their company or write an article, anything. So if someone want to reach you out professionally, how should they reach out?
The best way to connect with me will be LinkedIn. I'm very active over there, and Insta as well. So this is the two platforms. You can connect with me anytime. And if you want to reach out to me formally, you can reach out to me formally by email as well. And the email ID is info at priyavmane.com. So Priya, as you see in the background, it is spelled as Preea.
Yeah, okay. So for your ease, what I'm going to do, we're going to mention her Insta connect, her LinkedIn connect, as well as her email ID in the description box. So just copy paste, just follow her. And one special request for
Yes.
all the listeners.
Any
They've been listening to you from a little long time, and they like you. They are till here, and we should give them some special discount offer on your book and some special rates. So can you do something for all of these listeners for giving some special discounts?
Absolutely, absolutely. A straight 30% discount for my books, for all my listeners, all my fans. Thank you.
Wonderful. 30%. Okay, now don't wait too much. Right now, immediately go to Amazon in your country, Amazon.ae, Amazon.in, Amazon.com, wherever you are. Search her name, search the name of the book, and buy this book on 30% discount. But this would be only for limited time. And don't miss this chance, because by the if you delay, procrastinate, you might miss this 30% offer from her as a love to all of us. So thank you very much for very, very special rate. 30% is a big, big, big discount. A lot of books and authors are not even giving 10% discount, but 30 is big. Thank you very much for doing that. And
Thank you. Can I add one thing, Dr. Kailash, here? To encourage more for viewers to buy, because the book also has a section to keep it simple.
hmm,
So the more you think that it's too technical, we try to keep it simple.
yeah, I remember even initially when we were thinking of the name, we wanted to bring this keep it straight and simple in the name, but later
Yes.
on the name shifted. So one of the philosophy she follows, not only for writing but in her life, is keep things simple. So when you read her book on strategy and leadership, it will not be too technical. As I said, it's not coming from the typical educational style of book. It's real practical and very, very simple and very, very easy to implement in life. So go ahead, buy this book. So from all of you and from my side, I would like to thank you, Priya, for getting time to speak to all of us. I know you're busy, you do a lot of things, but thank you for coming in and speaking to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything. And thank you for inviting.
Okay. Okay, listener, bye bye. And forward this interview to someone who need to listen and start their own journey, find their own purpose. The conversation can inspire a lot of people. So thank you very much, everyone, and see you soon again. Bye bye. Bye.